Hi everyone, you're watching Analysed Tennis Forum, and in today's episode we will be looking at the French Open draw. This episode will be full of fun stats and facts which I can't wait to share with you guys. We are going to be extensively looking at the routes for Novak Djokovic, Rafa Nadal, Dominic Thiem, the three favorites of the tournament. We have some cracking round one matchups, and yeah, I cannot wait for this episode to come out. It's taken me a bit of prep work, but I'm sure it'll be all worth it. First of all, I would just like to give a massive thank you to you all for the support. My last video got over 10,000 views, more than 400 thumbs up. I was watching it getting shared on Instagram and Twitter and all that. So yeah, it was just amazing. And let's set a target for this video as well. Can we reach, I don't know, 200 thumbs up? Because what I saw from the previous video is the more you guys interact, the more thumbs up. I gained over 150 subscribers in the last 2 days. It really helps the channel grow, as then YouTube promotes it more, they see the interaction, and newer people can join our growing tennis community. So yeah, let's set a target of 200 thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. About 41% of my 10,000 viewers weren't subscribed, so yeah, think of the difference it would make if you all subscribe. But yeah, let's get straight into the video. We'll start with some fun French Open facts. The French Open was in fact the first Grand Slam to join the Open era back in 1968. The first tournament took place in 1891. It was the third slam introduced to the tennis calendar over 100 years ago. Did you know that Roland Garros is actually named after a French World War I pilot who was also a massive tennis fan, and he was the first ever man to fly over the Mediterranean Sea. So that's a little fun fact that not many people know. The French Open is regarded as the most physical slam of the year. Of course, it being played on clay, the courts are slower, the ball bounces higher. It's less rewarding for the more aggressive players, or the players with big serves, because the opponent just has that bit more time to return the ball. The last French male singles player to win the French Open was Yannick Noah back in 1983, and he still remains the only Frenchman to win a slam in the Open era. That's 50 years, and I find that quite amazing. We have all this French talent. Even now we have so many French players, but at the top of the game, they've just not been there for the last 50 years. Who's going to be the next French player to break that duck, let's say? Because living in London, we had Andy Murray breaking the duck, the 77-year long wait since Fred Perry. So France are in a bit of a similar situation in regards to that. No surprises, who has the most titles? Rafa Nadal, 12 French Open titles, the most any player has won a single Grand Slam in any Grand Slam. 12. That's yeah, that's quite spectacular. He's been in 12 finals, so he has a 100% success ratio when he reaches finals. He's only ever lost 2 matches at the French Open, and his win-loss record isn't just mind-boggling, 93-2, which means 7 matches to play. He could reach that magical 100 number in this year's tournament if he wins the tournament. The second most successful man in the French Open has half the amount of slams Rafa has. That's Bjorn Borg with 6, and no other man in the Open era at least has even won more than 3 slams at the French Open. So it really shows the dominance Rafa has had on the clay, the undisputed best ever player on clay, and I think that's at least one thing the whole tennis community can agree with. But that's enough French Open facts and stats for you to get your teeth into. Before we look at the routes for the top 3 players, we are going to just highlight some of the brilliant round 1 matches. We have quite potentially one of the greatest ever round 1 match at a Grand Slam ever. 6 Grand Slams between the pair. Andy Murray versus Stan Wawrinka. Wow, what a dream matchup for round 1. Both coming back from injuries, trying to regain that form they once had. Murray has a 12-8 head-to-head advantage over Stan Wawrinka. However, their last match on clay was an epic, a 5-setter at Roland Garros back in the 2017 semi-finals, and what Murray describes as the match that completely destroyed his hip. He's had to get the hip resurfaced, got the new metal hip. But yeah, wow, what a fantastic match. It was actually a repeat from the previous year where Murray won the semi-final in 4 sets. So they had 2 back-to-back French Open semi-finals in 2016 and 2017. And yeah, they are going to face in the round 1 of 2020 French Open. I cannot wait for that. Even though Murray does have that 12-8 head-to-head, Stan Wawrinka actually has a 4-1 head-to-head against Murray on clay. So he's definitely going to be going into the tournament, or into that match at least, as the favourite. But come on, Andy. We have some other great round 1 matches. Another all Grand Slam winners affair. Dominic Thiem versus Marin Cilic, both US Open champions. However, Dominic Thiem does have a 3-love head-to-head against Marin Cilic, and he's never, they've never had to play on clay. So I don't see Thiem getting upset there, but that's another all Grand Slam champions affair. A few other matches to look forward to. Berrettini Pospisil could be quite interesting. Medvedev Fusovic, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Medvedev actually leads that match 2-love. However, the only match they've played on clay went to a 3rd set decider. And Medvedev, having lost in essentially the first round in Hamburg, there's a lot of question marks over how suited he is to the clay game. That could be an early surprise for Daniil Medvedev there. And then to round things off, I think Sinner versus Goffin could be a quite interesting match. Sinner obviously coming through, the young Italian. Lots of potential. Playing against David Goffin, I'm very interested to see how that one goes. A few round 3 matches, interesting ones. Dimitrov versus Shapovalov, Zverev versus de Minaur, Tsitsipas versus Krajinovic. Now, I think that could be a shock on the cards. Krajinovic, he's not a bad player. He pushed Novak very hard in Rome last week. That could be an upset for Tsitsipas. And then if he gets through that in round 4, he could face Shapovalov. So Tsitsipas has been given a very tough draw. And then there's Zverev versus Goffin as well in that round 4. That is enough of those. Let's now look at the routes for the top 3 players extensively. I really hope you enjoyed this. It took me quite a while to get it together, but I'm sure it'll all be worth it. We'll start off with the world number 1 and the seeded number 1 player for the tournament, Novak Djokovic. His first slam appearance since that disqualification from the US Open, and I think he will want to prove something here. And looking at the routes, he has been given, in my opinion, a very good draw, a fantastic draw. The $1 million question has been answered. Dominic Thiem is in Rafa's half. So he's not in Novak's half, he's in Rafa's half. But yeah, let's look at the routes for Novak Djokovic. I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. Novak Djokovic in his first round versus Yemer, sorry for the pronunciation. Never played him, love. Don't expect any shocks there. Round 2, he could face Berankis, 2-love head-to-head record against him. Round 3 against Hubert Hurkacz. He also has a 2-love head-to-head against him, and they actually faced at round 1 of last year's French Open, where Novak won in straight sets. Round 4, he should face, if everything goes to seedings, he should face Khachanov. Novak has a 3-1 head-to-head against Khachanov. However, they've never faced on clay. In the quarterfinals, he's scheduled to face Berrettini or RBA. Now, against Berrettini, they've only ever played once, which was in the O2 last year. Novak won that, so he has a 1-love head-to-head, never faced on clay. And against RBA, he has a 9-3 head-to-head. However, all 3 of RBA's wins have come on the hard courts. They faced each other 4 times on clay courts. Novak Djokovic with a 4-love head-to-head on clay. In the semi-finals, he should face Medvedev according to the seedings. However, I don't think he will face Medvedev. So there's 3 potential options I've put for Novak Djokovic: Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Shapovalov. Medvedev Djokovic has a 4-2 head-to-head and actually a negative 0-1 head-to-head on clay. They've only ever faced once on clay, which was in the Monte Carlo quarterfinals last year, where Medvedev won that match in 3 sets. Against Tsitsipas, Djokovic has a 3-2 head-to-head and a 1-0 positive head-to-head on clay courts. And against Shapovalov, Djokovic has a 5-love head-to-head and a 1-love head-to-head positive on the clay courts. So I think what we can see from this draw is, if he doesn't face Medvedev, which I don't think Medvedev is going to reach the semi-final, Novak Djokovic, his potential route, his route to the final, is players that have never beaten him on clay. And I think that's crucial. He had no player in his half of the draw, other than Medvedev, who I don't see reaching in the semis, have even won a match against Novak Djokovic on the clay courts. And looking at his half of the draw, he's avoided pretty much, I would say, the bogey players. So, Thiem's not in his half, which is fair because Thiem has been in his half for many years now. But other dangerous clay courters and also Novak's like bogey players like Stan Wawrinka, clay court specialists like Fabio Fognini, Schwartzman after last week's heroics. They're not in his half. So yeah, for me, Novak has received a very favorable draw. And then in the final, of course, he could face Rafa Nadal or Dominic Thiem. Novak has a positive head-to-head record of 29 and 26 against Rafa Nadal. It's just crazy how many times they've played. However, unsurprisingly, on the clay, Rafa has a positive 17-7 head-to-head against Novak. I think it's an achievement that he's even won 7 times against Rafa, the most any player has. And yeah, he has proven himself over the years to be able to beat Rafa on the clay courts. In the French Open, they have played 7 times. Rafa has a 6-1 head-to-head, Novak being one of 2 players to ever beat Rafa at the French Open, which was back in 2015 at the quarterfinals, which was surprisingly straight sets. And also quite surprisingly, they've only ever played 2 finals against each other back in 2012 and 2014, which Rafa won both times in 4 sets. Against Dominic Thiem, Novak has a 7-4 head-to-head. On the clay courts, however, it is 3-3, so tied there. But in the French Open, Dominic Thiem has a 2-1 positive head-to-head against Novak Djokovic, and that includes the last 2 times they faced, which was last year and 3 years ago. Last year, can you remember that epic 5-setter they had? Wow, that was a brilliant match. That's Novak Djokovic's route. Now we are going to look at Rafa Nadal's route. In round 1, he plays Gerasimov. Sorry about the pronunciations again. Never played him. 0-0 head-to-head. Round 2, he scheduled to play McDonald. Never played him. 0-0 head-to-head. So I don't see any surprises coming there. I mean, look, it's Rafa Nadal on clay. In round 3, he's scheduled to face either Evans from Britain or Nishikori. How great would it be to see Nishikori get there? Rafa has a 2-love head-to-head against Dan Evans, however, never played on the clay courts. And he has a 11-2 head-to-head against Nishikori. And on clay, 5-love head-to-head. They played actually in last year's French Open quarterfinals, which Rafa won in straight sets and only lost 5 games in the entire match. So so don't see any problems for Rafa there. Round 4 is when he gets spicy. Fabio Fognini, the first dangerous tie in Rafa's route. I mean, look, I still expect Rafa to come through. However, Fognini, he has got clay wins against Rafa. Rafa leads the head-to-head 12-4. However, on clay courts, Rafa leads 6-3. So Fognini beating Rafa 3 times on clay, massive achievement. And he actually beat him in Monte Carlo last year in the semi-finals and went on to win his first and only Masters 1000 title. Quarterfinals, Rafa scheduled to face Zverev or Goffin. Rafa has a 5-1 head-to-head against Zverev, which includes 3-love head-to-head on the clay courts. However, Zverev won their last encounter, which was last year in the O2 in the World Tour finals in the round robin stage. Against Goffin, Rafa has a 4-2 head-to-head. However, on the clay courts, it's 4-love. So every time he's played him on clay, he's beaten him. And they faced in last year's Roland Garros, which Rafa actually dropped a set. He won in 4 sets. However, I don't see any problems for Rafa to get to the semi-finals at least. And then we could have our cracker, Rafa Nadal versus Dominic Thiem. Rafa has a 9-5 head-to-head against Dominic Thiem and an 8-4 head-to-head on clay. So, Dominic Thiem has beaten Rafa 4 times on clay. However, never at the French Open, and the 3 times they faced in the French Open, Rafa has won them all. But the last time Dominic won a set, which was an improvement from the first 2 times they played. The other potential semi-final opponent could be Diego Schwartzman. Now, I don't think Schwartzman is going to repeat the heroics he had in Rome. It's just like I just don't see it happening again. However, if he does reach the semi-final to face Rafa, then Rafa has a 9-1 head-to-head. So the first time Diego Schwartzman ever beat Rafa was last week in Rome, and Rafa has a 4-1 head-to-head on the clay courts. And then scheduled to face, and really should face, Novak Djokovic, which I think Novak on the other side is banked on to reach the final. Rafa, look, I know he had a poor performance or poor run in Rome. However, I think Diego Schwartzman just played really well last week to get that victory over Rafa. So I don't see any problems for Rafa until the semi-finals, and I will still put him as a big favorite against Dominic Thiem. And yes, scheduled to face Novak Djokovic. What a fantastic match that could be! Very, very interesting, and of course, massive repercussions in the whole GOAT debate, because once again, we have to remember these slams for the big three, they're not just slams. They're not just, adding another French Open. They are now fighting for history. Who ends with the most slams? And whilst that is, for me, not the deciding factor for the GOAT debate, it's the most important record in tennis, who has the most slams. So, yeah, let's hope for that finals against those two at least. And then we are going to be looking at Dominic Thiem's route to the final. Now, he is the defending US Open champion. He just won that a couple of weeks ago. Massive achievement. For Thiem, probably the best slam to go into. His preferred clay courts. However, the first Masters 1000 he won was on a hard court. The first slam he won was on a hard court. But yeah, going into the French Open, he has not played any warm-up tournaments. He just decided to take some time off. And for me personally, my opinion on this is he's going to be on that relief and the mental high, and that final he played against Serve, which really could have gone either way. I just don't think he will be able to recreate that. Forget his draw. The fact that he's probably going to have to beat both Rafa and Novak to win the title. It's just, I don't think he's just going to be mentally ready to win another slam. He's got that monkey off his back now, winning the US Open. And when you look at it historically, the last time someone won a slam straight after their first slam, you have to go back almost 70 years. It was Lou Hode back in 1956. And he actually won his first three back-to-back. So he won the Australian Open, won the French Open, and then won Wimbledon straight after. So yeah, that's how far back you need to go for men's at least to see a player who's won a slam straight after winning his first slam. But yeah, let's look at his route. Round 1, that blockbuster tie against Marin Cilic, both Grand Slam champions. Dominic Thiem has a 3-love head-to-head against him, so don't see any problems there. They've never faced on clay. However, Marin Cilic is there where Dominic Thiem is there. So yeah, just don't see it happening. Round 2, scheduled to play Riley Opelka. They've only ever played once, which was on a clay court, which Dominic Thiem won. But it did go to a last set. It was the third set, and Riley Opelka retired from the match. So, could be interesting. Don't see Thiem losing it though. Third round scheduled to play Casper Ruud. Now, I thought Casper Ruud played very well against Novak Djokovic in Rome last week. They've never met. They've never played on any surfaces. So, yeah, 0-0 head-to-head there. Now, round 4 could be an epic. Now, he's scheduled or should play Stan Wawrinka. Could be Andy Murray, but yeah, Stan Wawrinka or Felix Auger-Aliassime. He had that great run in USA a couple of weeks ago. Against Stan Wawrinka, Dominic Thiem actually has a negative 3-1 head-to-head. But on the clay courts, it is 1-1. But their last match was back in 2017, so they've not played anytime soon. Most of their matches really came with Stan in his prime and Dominic Thiem still finding his way up. So obviously, I'd put Dominic Thiem as the favourite. And against Felix Auger-Aliassime, he has a 1-0 head-to-head. They've never faced on clay. In the quarterfinals, scheduled to face, could face Monfils, Bona Coric, Diego Schwartzman, any one of those. I don't see any of them being a threat to him. He has great head-to-heads against them all. He's only actually lost to Schwartzman once on clay. The other two, he's never lost to them on clay. Scheduled to face Rafa Nadal in the semi-final. As I said earlier, he has a negative 5-9 head-to-head and a negative 4-8 head-to-head on clay. However, 4 wins against Rafa, that's a good achievement there. And I think that's where his tournament will end. I just don't see Dominic Thiem beating Rafa. Yeah, unless Rafa's still playing iffy, I think he'll be more fine-tuned by that point. But and yeah, even if he does beat Rafa, it's not going to be a straight set affair. Most likely that match will probably go to 4 or 5 sets, and then you're probably facing one of the worst players to play if you're tired to begin with, Novak Djokovic in the final. yeah, it's going to be very tricky for Dominic Thiem, but let me know what you think. So that's the routes for the big three players, the three favorites. Dominic Thiem, of course, if he doesn't win, he will be out of the running to end the year as well, number one. And if Novak Djokovic wins, he confirms the year end number one. So that's the situation in terms of the ranking. Once again, if you check my last video, I went in great detail over that one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed going through the routes with me. Like I said, I think Novak's got a great draw. The biggest question was which half would Dominic Thiem be in, and he is in Rafa's half, which for me just increases the chances for Novak that little bit more. Once again, we can't forget that the French Open is not being played at the usual time of the year. It's being played in October rather than in like the end of May. The average temperature is going to be -10 to -15 degrees lower than usual. So that is not going to favor Rafa Nadal. It takes less away from his high intensity, high topspin, and play like when his topspin bounces on clay, it just goes so much higher. Where these colder temperatures, if the roof is being used, which it could be, being played in October, that's just going to increase the humidity, and it really doesn't suit Rafa's style being played at this time of the year. So factor in everything. It's probably going to be one of the most open French Opens we've had in years. So I can't wait, and I really hope we get that dream final. Novak Djokovic, Rafa Nadal, the big names. Surprisingly, they've not faced each other in many finals over the last few years. Let me know what you think. Who is your favorite going into the tournament? What do you think of the draws? And yeah, I just really enjoy listening to what you guys say. Sorry if this video has been a bit long. I just tried to put as many stats and facts for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you so much for the reception you gave me in my last video. Over 10,000 views, over 400 thumbs up. Yeah, let's try hit 200 thumbs up for this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you will continue to enjoy the content. I'm really glad with the 10 minutes community we have. There was a few comments saying there should be more subscribers on this channel, things like that, which I want. Let's be real, but I'm very happy with the quality of subscribers I have as well. I feel like everyone's engaged, and it's quite a respectful little community we have here. So yeah, let's enjoy the French Open. I am very excited for it to begin. Of course, there'll be videos throughout. There'll be hopefully a preview for the final, and yeah, there'll be a rankings update at the end of it. So take care, have a good day, enjoy the weekend.